I'm Fox 26 meteorologist Ramisha Shade. Let's talk about what's happening in the tropics. We do have some potential trouble in the northern Gulf, so we are going to be monitoring that closely. Let me tell you the latest. What's going on? We've got a disorganized broad area of low pressure moving over southeastern Louisiana. It's already partially on land, so that's one of the reasons why we're thinking there's a very small chance this could strengthen into a tropical depression or tropical storm. So it is expected to move farther inland tonight through Friday. So once it's completely over land, that's going to put an end to any chance for tropical development, and that will likely happen late tonight or tomorrow. So bottom line, for intensity, that window is quickly closing for this tropical low to become a weak tropical depression. So far this season, we've had 3 named storms. We've gone through the A name, the B name, the C name. We haven't had any hurricanes or major hurricanes. Of course, the Colorado State University forecasters, the meteorologists there, still thinking that we're going to have about 16 named storms for this 2025 Atlantic Basin season. Out of those, 8 becoming hurricanes, and out of those, possibly 3 becoming major hurricanes. That would be category 3 or greater. Average season would normally give us about 14 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and about 3 major hurricanes. So we've been spared so far, no hurricanes across the Atlantic Basin, but it's really still close to the beginning of hurricane season. We've got to get all the way to the end of November. So here are the tropical storms that we've had so far: Andrea, Barry, and Chantal. Chantal, the only one impacting the U.S., of course, making landfall in the Carolinas during the 4th of July holiday weekend and bringing some flash flooding to that part of the U.S. So if that system in the Gulf were to miraculously quickly develop, which I doubt, the name would be Dexter, but I just don't think that's going to happen. There's not much time for it to develop. It's already partially over land, and quite frankly, it is very disorganized at this point. So the chance for this becoming a tropical system quickly fizzling and dwindling. However, whether we get a tropical system or not, the impacts will pretty much be the same, because it's going to dump a lot of heavy rain across parts of Louisiana, the Louisiana Gulf Coast, in the bullseye for some of that heaviest rain. So notice that's where we do have a flood watch that lasts all the way through Saturday. We're talking about 3 to 6 inches of rain, isolated amounts around 10, maybe up to 15 inches before it's over and done with. So this is the area we're going to have to watch. If you're hopping on Interstate 10 from Houston and traveling east, you will likely run into some heavy downpours and a higher flood potential from Lake Charles all the way over to New Orleans. So please be careful. Avoid any flooded roads. As far as the tropical disturbance, right now, it is spinning very close to Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and it is still tracking west. However, you will see in just a minute that it is going to take a turn. It is not going to roll right into H-Town. It is going to turn before it hits us. But notice the heavy downpours approaching Lake Charles. You can see those bursts of heavy rain, intense thunderstorms, those tropical downpours where you could see 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 inches of rain in an hour. So this is where we're going to have the highest flood risk. So I think for the rest of today, the heavy rain stays east of Houston. Friday, though, we are going to get sideswiped. We're going to get a little bit of that rain action, so watch out. Make sure you're ready for that. At this point, the flooding, the heavy rain staying to the east. It's all about the heat in Houston right now. We got high pressure building in, temps in the 90s, excessive heat warnings to the north of the Louisiana area, really even northern portions of Louisiana dealing with some heat advisories. So outside of this tropical disturbance, it is super hot, but of course where we do have the rain coming down, we got more clouds and some slightly cooler temps. All right, I want to show you the spaghetti model plots, or the different computer models projecting where they think this thing is going to go. And notice it quickly takes a turn to the northwest and then to the north over the next 12 to 24 hours. So that would keep it away from Houston. It's going to push up into the Mississippi River Valley, likely up towards Memphis as it weakens over the next few days. So we're not going to have to worry about any sort of direct landfall here, but notice the rain getting closer. So by 11 p.m. tonight, Heavy rain still mainly in southwestern and south central parts of Louisiana. But going into Friday morning, those bursts of heavy rain start to build in. So if you're in Livingston, Cleveland, Liberty, Galveston, over towards Chambers County, it could be a bit of a messy morning commute for Friday with heavy bursts of rain. That rain likely starting to build into the Houston area by lunchtime on Friday and sticking around through that evening rush. So notice 1 p.m. Cypress, Houston getting in on some of the heavier rain. 5 o'clock, still a few downpours out there, and we'll continue with the potential for this rain through at least Friday night, even into early Saturday, still a few downpours. Notice by 11 p.m., 10:45 p.m. Friday, most of that rain is gone. With the heating of the day, though, Saturday, I think we'll have a few more bursts of rain, but the main event for us will be on Friday. Flood risk for the rest of today and tonight mainly stays to our east, but for tomorrow, we are going to have a slightly elevated risk for some street flooding for Houston. Highest risk will be east of Interstate 45. How much rain are we talking about? Because that's going to be the main impact for Houston. Well, not a lot, likely less than an inch for most spots, maybe some isolated 1 to 2 inch totals, but still models showing 3 to 5 inches of rain over towards the southern Louisiana coastal spots. So that's where we could have the biggest flooding risk. A different view will show you that we do still have the potential for more development in the tropics as we go through the last few weeks of July. Of course, where we have this elevated risk for tropical development in the northwestern Gulf, that's exactly where we have action happening right now. It doesn't appear that it's going to turn into a tropical system, but that is a possible development area. Also, we monitor the western Atlantic and also the northwest Caribbean for the month of July. Of course, things really start to ramp up for August, much higher chance across the western Atlantic, chances increasing for the Gulf, and of course the peak of hurricane season, September. So just because things have been fairly slow so far, don't let your guard down. We have yet to get to the busiest part of hurricane season historically. So make sure you're always prepared, have your emergency gear ready to go, and let's be thankful at least with this system, it doesn't appear that it's going to do a whole lot. We'll be right back with more Texas Live and Local.